So, shall we speak in French or in English? I'm not very expert in English, but we can try. Hare Krishna, we'll go to Prabhupada. Vous auriez le Chaitanya Charitamrita en anglais, s'il vous plaît? Reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Canto, Adi-Lila, chapter 10, verse Sloka 138 and following. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj Maharaj ki Hare Krishna. So, reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi-Lila, chapter 10, verse 138, in the chapter called The Tree, and what is the name of the chapter?
Trunk and branches and sub-branches of Chaitanya tree.
Branches and sub-branches, yes, of the tree of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, yes. So, there are not so many purports in this chapter. So we are going to read mainly verses, slokas. My Bengali is not also quite proficient. Ishvara Puriya Shishya. Please repeat. Ishvara Puriya Shishya. Ishvara Puriya Shishya. Brahmachari Kashishvara.
Brahmachari Kashishvara.
Brahmachari Kashishvara.
Brahmachari Kashishvara.
Shri Govinda Namatara Priya Anuchara.
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 Ishvara Purira Shishya Brahmachari Kavishvara.
Ishvara Purira Shishya Brahmachari Kavishvara.
Shri Govinda Nama Tara Priya Anuchara.
Shri Govinda Namatara Priya Anuchara.
Ishvara Purira Shishya Brahmachari Kavishvara.
Ishvara Purira Shishya Brahmachari Kavishvara.
Shri Govinda Nama Tanra Priya Anuchara.
Shri Govinda Namatara Priya Anuchara.
Prabhus?
Ishvara Purira Shishya
Ishvara Purira Shishya
Brahmachari Kashishvara
Brahmachari Kashishvara.
Shri Govinda Namatara Priya Anuchara.
Shri Govinda Namatara Priya Anuchara.
Ishvara Purira Shishya Brahmachari Kashishvara
Ishvara Purira Shishya Brahmachari Kashishvara
Shri Govinda Namatana Priya Hanuchara
Shri Govinda Namatana Priya Hanuchara
Ishvara Purira Shishya Brahmachari Kashishvara
Ishvara Purira Shishya Brahmachari Kashishvara
Shri Govinda Namatara Priya Hanuchara
Shri Govinda Namatana Priya Hanuchara
Ishvara Purira Shishya Brahmachari Kashishvara
Ishvara Purira Shishya Brahmachari Kashishvara
Shri Govinda Namatara Priyanuchara
Shri Govinda Namatara Priya Hanuchara. Yes, word by word. Ishvara Purira Shishya,
Ishvara Purira Shishya
disciple of Ishvara Puri.
Disciple of Ishvara Puri
Brahmachari Kashishvara,
Brahmachari Kashishvara
of the name Brahmachari Kashishvara.
The name Brahmachari Kashishvara.
Shri Govinda,
Shri Govinda
of the name Shri Govinda.
The name Shri Govinda
Nama,
Nama
name. Tanra,
Tanra
his.
His
Priya,
Priya
very dear.
Very dear
Anuchara,
Anuchara
follower.
Follower
Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Brahmachari Kashishvar was a disciple of Ishvara Puri, and Sri Govinda was another of his dear disciples. Purport. Govinda was the personal servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the Gora Gadodesh Dipika, verse 137, it is stated that the servants formerly named Bringara and Bangura in Vrindavan became Kashishvar and Govinda in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Govinda always engaged in the service of the Lord, even at great risk. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapita Vinabhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Satpadamita. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namusute Tapta Kachanago Rangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanshakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Gaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gora Bhakta Brinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna avatar for this age of Kali, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy, he came to spread the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, Sri Krishna. Yes. And he was surrounded by many companions, as it is explained so nicely by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada in the very beginning of Krishna book. When Lord Krishna descends on earth, he is accompanied by all his companions, his eternal companions, who come to be in relationship with him during his Lila. The Aprakat Lila and Prakat Lila. Aprakat Lila lila which are non-manifested to us, which are eternally performed in the spiritual realm, in Prakat Lila, those lila that we can see when Lord Krishna is present on earth. Yes. So, Srila Prabhupada explains that when Krishna comes, the devatas of the heavenly planets, they also come to be with him. Why so? Because in order to be in close relationship with Lord Krishna, you have to be somewhat pure. And devatas, they are not considered, so to speak, as pure devotees of the Lord, but still they have attained quite a good amount of purification. And therefore, they are authorized by Lord Krishna to be his companions during his earthly pastimes. And yes, they descend on earth with him. And also, members or companions of the spiritual world, they come on earth to be with Krishna, especially the gopis and the companions of Lord Sri Krishna in Vaikuntha Loka, in Goloka Vrindavan. The gopas, the gopis, the astasakis, they all come to be with Lord Krishna on earth. Let's remember the name of the astasakis for purification. So Lalita, Vishaka, Sudevi, Rangadevi, Panchakalata, Tungavidya, Chitra, and Induleka. Yes. So they take the form of pure devotees of the Lord with him. Also, when he appears as in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to perform his Chaitanya Lila pastimes on this planet, when he came 500 years ago. So, also when Lord Chaitanya was in Jagannath Puri, he was surrounded by so many devotees, not only in Jagannath Puri actually, all during his pastimes. And when we chant the Panchatattva mantra, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadada, Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda, we chant the name of Lord Krishna, Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu as Lord Balaram, Shri Advaita Acharya as Mahavishnu or Sadashiva, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srimati Radharani, and Narada Muni, Srivas Thakur, eternal companion of the Lord also, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and yes, Narada Muni, who chants eternally the glories of the Lord throughout the whole universes. Gadadhar, Srimati Radharani, yes, because from his very young age, Gadadhar was the companion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was playing in the ground, in the parental houses of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's family and his whole family, and they were just close friends, very close friends, and so intimate, just as Radha and Krishna are eternally close and close friends and lovers in the spiritual realm. Yes. So here, in this chapter, there is quite a good list of so many devotees who are companions, who are serving Lord Chaitanya, and who enjoy his nectarian association, here especially in the place of Jagannath Puri. When he was present on this planet, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained only for 48 years, and among these 48 years, he spent 24 years altogether in Jagannath Puri, which is, he remained 24 years in the sannyas order of life. In the sannyas order of life. 18 years. 14 years, 24 in the sannyas order of life, and among these 24 years, he remained 18 in Jagannath Puri. And in Jagannath Puri, he was preaching, he was in the company, he was preaching in the Ratha Yatra for more than 10 years. And the remaining years, 6 or 7 years, he remained secluded in Gambhira, place where he had his most intimate pastimes, as we say, spiritual madness. Spiritual madness. And so, here we have the mention of two devotees, Brahmachari Kavishvar and Sri Govinda. They are servants, personal servants, among other servants, in the company of, in the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Sri Govinda mentioned here has not, or it should not be confused with the Govinda who is a great Vaishnava poet. Actually, this morning I was meditating maybe to chant with you before the class this bhajan which we chant often in your tradition, Bhajahure Mana Shinandanandana. So wonderful bhajan, which is from Govinda Das. But this is not the same Govinda Das than here. The Govinda Das, author of this famous bhajan, has come little after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's departure from the earth. He is a renowned poet. Even Jiva Goswami is praising him, and he is contemporary to Jiva Goswami, the youngest of the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan, but still is different from this Govinda that we have here. Govinda Das poet, Kaviraj, is very famous for giving the comparison as life to be just like a drop of water on the petal of a lotus flower. We see our life is can be finished in 1 second, 1 minute. We see one good friend here in this classroom or in this temple room or at home or wherever, at school or whatever, and then 1 minute after finished. Life is so fragile. And so we have to be very careful of not to spare time, to waste time. We have to give every second, every minute, the attention required and spend it the best we can in the service of the Lord. Govinda Das and Brahmachari Kavishvar, they are actually Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's god brothers. They are disciples of Ishvara Puri Shishya, as it is said here. Still, Ishvara Puri has given them the service to be the manual servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When there is such an exalted personality, yes, although he can be our God brother, still we have to be his manual servant. This is why, when there is one of our God brothers who becomes, by the grace of the Lord and by the mercy of Guru Dev, when he becomes a sannyasi, it is our duty. Also, we may have a good friendship, relationship, because we have been in the same room, in the same ashram for years sometimes. Still, we have to pay respect as a senior devotee and as a sannyasi. This is Vaishnava etiquette. And if everyone follows this Vaishnava etiquette, everyone will be very happy in the Hare Krishna family. Yes. So, let's read a few more verses. But there are no comments. So, verse 139. Tanra Sidi Kaledone Tanra Agyapana Nilachale Prabhustane Nila Ashishya. Translation. In the list of prominent devotees at Nilachala, Jagannath Puri, Kashishvar was the 18th and Govinda the 19th. They both came to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri, being thus ordered by Ishvara Puri at the time of his passing away. (140) Guru Rasambandhi Manya Kailadu Hakare Tara Agya Mani Seva Dilena Don Hare. Both Kashishvar and Govinda were god brothers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and thus the Lord duly honored them as soon as they arrived. But because Ishvara Puri had ordered them to give Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personal service, the Lord accepted their service. So here we see the perfect Vaishnava behavior set in example by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. Yes, his god brothers are here, so he welcomes them nicely. We were not them physically speaking, but we may imagine that he embraces them, he offers them prasad. Haribol, how are you? How is mom? How is dad? Are you in good health? What did you do last month? And so on and so forth. All what we do, always we speak when we're together. But then, yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord himself, Krishna avatar, yes, for this age of Kali. He has to set the example. He's also in the redance order of life, although he has not his danda, which was broken by Nityananda Prabhu, but still he accepts as a sannyasi, he accepts the personal service of god brothers. Although he may have, of course, a very special relationship with them. Yes. Anga seva govindere dilena hishvara. 141. Jaganade kite chalena age kashishvara. Govinda cared for the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whereas Kashishvar went in front of the Lord when he went to see Jagannath in the temple. So here we have very interesting information that actually the gopis in Vrindavan, the Astasakis we mentioned previously, they all had a very special service in relationship to Lord Krishna. I don't remember exactly, because in this age of Kali we have no brain, but still, yes, there is one Mataji or one gopi was dedicated to cooking, one was dedicated to bringing water to Lord Krishna and Radha. There was another one who take care that Radha and Krishna would have their pastimes peacefully. There was even one who was very expert in taking herbs, special medicine herbs, and preparing medicine, although Lord Krishna is never sick or never healed. But still, they would prepare herbs, special herbs for the pleasure of their lordships, and so on and so forth. And here, in the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, yes, every devotee would have his personal service. Here we know that Govinda Das, cared for the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we may speculate, saying that he was maybe massaging the body or something like this. Yes? And Kashishvar Brahmachari went in front of the Lord when he went to see Jagannath in the temple. And we shall learn in the next verses that actually this Kashishvar Brahmachari was a kind of bodyguard, so to speak. He would see that no one would disturb the Lord in his darshan to his Lord Jagannath. And he would ask people to please stay aside when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would come to have darshan, Lord Jagannath's darshan. Yes. Yes, this is actually what appears in text 142. Aparada yasya gosani manusya gahane manusya telipata kare kashi balavane. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the temple of Jagannath, Kashishvar, being very strong, cleared the crowds aside with his hands so that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could pass untouched. Yes. Yes. There is one custom in England that the King of England, although he may be very near to his subjects, Queen Elizabeth also, before, but could never touched by anyone. Could never touched by anyone. Never. The King or the Queen of England, never. So maybe we imagine they may be touched by some personal assistance in case they become sick. Because after all, the King of England may become sick. Yes. But to touch the body of Lord Krishna on the altar, you have to be at least with second initiation, Brahmin initiation. We don't know if we are still very qualified, but still at least we should have the degree, yes, the degree of second initiation. Yes. Yes. To try to be menial servants of Lord Krishna on the altar. And yes, so no one is supposed to touch Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body, apart from menial servants such as Govinda, who was taking care of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's body. Text 143. Ramainandai done prabhura kinkara Govindera shange seva kare nirantara. Translation. Ramai and Nandai, the 20th and 21st, among the important devotees in Jagannath Puri, always assisted Govinda 24 hours a day in rendering service to the Lord. Yes. So even Govinda and Kashishvar, they had their own assistants. Yes. So, just like in ISKCON Sarcel, we try to follow in the footsteps of these great devotees. Yes, there is a temple president who is assisting his Guru Maharaj, and under the temple president, there is a council who is also assisting the temple president. And in the council, yes, above the council there are all kinds of devotees, head of service, head of different various services. And yes, everyone is serving the Lord in the position, but fully in Guru Parampara. And every devotee in his position is a bona fide representative of Guru Parampara, provided that he follows fully and with the best of his heart the instructions of his beloved spiritual master, who himself has to follow in the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara. Yes. Text 144. Beisagada Jaredine Barena Ramai Govinda Agyaya Seva Karena Nandai. Every day, Ramai filled 22 big water pots, whereas Nandai personally assisted Govinda. Let's see. 22 big water pots. Just imagine. At that time, there were no taps. We had to go to, this was not, yes, Yamuna River, not in Jagannath Puri, I believe, but another river, and still. Who knows the river in Jagannath Puri? No. Purport. In the Gora Ganodesh Dipika 139, it is stated that two servants who formerly supplied milk and water to Lord Krishna, became Ramai and Nandai in the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You see? The pastimes depicted in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, yes, they are the duplicate, in one sense, of Krishna, of Radha Krishna pastimes in the spiritual world. Yes. Krishna Das Nama Sudha Kulina Brahmana Yara Yare Sange Leya Keila Dakshina Gamana. So the 22nd devotee, Krishna Das, was born of a pure and respectable Brahmana family. While touring southern India, Lord Chaitanya took Krishna Das with him. Purport. Krishna Das is described in the Adi-Lila, chapters 7 and 9. He went with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to carry his water pot. In the Malabar state, members of the Bhattacharya cult tried to captivate Krishna Das by supplying a woman to seduce him. But although Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saved him from being harmed, when they returned to Jagannath Puri, he asked Krishna Das to remain there, for the Lord was never favorably disposed toward an associate who was attracted by a woman. Thus, Krishna Das lost the personal association of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So here we see, or we may remember, that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, although very, 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 very merciful, because he gave the holy name, he spread the holy name to everyone. Krishna Chaitanya Vananyaya, Krishna Prema Pradayate, Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goradvije Namaha. Distributed fully the holy name to everyone, and therefore is the most magnanimous incarnation. But still, although, yes, he was magnanimous to everyone, in his role as a sannyasi, and to set the example as a sannyasi in the renounced order of life, he was extremely strict in his association with any person who had contact with women. And although, and still, yes, still he accepted obeisances from Matajis. He considered every lady as a Mataji, that is to say, a dear mother, but he would accept from a distance. He would never have a Mataji very, very, very close to him. And even devotees, for some reason, who had contact, let's say, not favorable contact with Matajis, he would avoid them. And here we have the example of this Krishna Das, who had some association with Mataji, although he didn't want to, but some, let's say, priest from South India, they tried to pollute him by giving an unfavorable association with Matajis, and Lord Chaitanya knew of it, and therefore he rejected him. Just as sometimes later, Lord Chaitanya would reject Chota Haridas. And actually, the question of relationship between male and female is quite a strong topic in spiritual life. And we have the example of Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur, who performed severe austerities, and he would chant the holy name of the Lord, practically speaking, 24 hours a day. And then Maya Devi, appearing as a beautiful young lady, was sent by some unfortunate, envious person, but she could not actually captivate Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur. And actually, Haridas Thakur saved her from her fallen condition as a prostitute. And she became a pure devotee. And we have even the story in our ISKCON movement. In Bombay, what is the name of this Maharaj? Giriraj Maharaj. Yes. When he was a young brahmachari, in the story of this strong fight to get the Bombay temple, at some times of the great epic of the building of the Bombay temple, the envious persons who try not to have ISKCON in Bombay, they sent, they sent a Mataji in the core of the night to try to seduce young Giriraj Brahmachari, young temple president, to, hey, come, let's have enjoyment together. But Giriraj Brahmachari, yes, he was so faithful to Srila Prabhupada and so faithful to ISKCON, to the holy name, that he could not be seduced by this lady. Interestingly enough, we have to know that Giriraj Maharaj, at the time Brahmachari, was the son of a very rich family. And just as the Goswamis of Vrindavan, for instance, Raghunath Das Goswami, he left everything, just like also Ambarish Prabhu, to serve Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. Let's have these great devotees as an example to us, and let's try to follow in their footsteps and to serve just like them, Srila Prabhupada, the Shastras, ISKCON mission for the Lordships, Shri Radha Parisisvara, Shri Jagannath Baladev Sojanvi, Shri Nitai Sashita Goramita. Thank you very much for your kind association. Hare Krishna. Do you have any questions or comments? So many? Yes, maybe we have time, maybe we can chant a few, if there's no questions. Yes, we can. Yes, I was a little early, yes. Yes, Prabhu,
we
you have a
have
question?
more information about Govinda, Kashisvara, about some pastimes of them.
Oh, no, I don't have here. I'm trying to see if there is one here, but no, we don't have past here. We don't have. Still, we can see that actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has, yes, this we can speak, yes, a little on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal servants. Mainly, we hear of Murari Gupta and Swarup Damodar. Murari, yes, they are very personal servants, and Swarup Damodar Maharaj, he was a sannyas, although he didn't wear the stick. He was serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Gambhira at the very last stage of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's presence on earth, and he was a great poet. And from his notes, from his many acharyas or many Vaishnava writers have utilized the recordings given by Swarup Damodar to write such nice books as Chaitanya Charitamrita or Chaitanya Bhagavat and so forth. Yes, and Swarup Damodar would be personal secretary, and he would be very strict, allowing persons to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He will not let anyone go and meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so was Murari Gupta. And actually, just to remind us that, as we said before, in Chaitanya Lila, so many devotees had, as we said, such a very special service. As far as Jagannath Puri is concerned, we may remember Shivananda Sen, who was the organizer of the devotees coming to Ratha Yatra. He was the one who was taking charge of, let's say, intendants of Ratha Yatra. He would make sure that devotees who would go to Ratha Yatra, at the time it was quite a physical endeavor. Devotees, they would come from throughout India. They would come from Bengal, which is quite far when you have to walk. Of course, by train or by plane, it's quite near. But when you have to walk, Bengal and Jagannath Puri is not exactly the same place. You have to walk a distance. So, Shivananda Sen, he would take care of the devotees. He would take care of their foodstuff. He would take care of the place where they would live when they would go and meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the time of Ratha Yatra. He was a rich person. We don't know exactly from where come his riches, but he was rich enough to spend a lot of money to have the Ratha Yatra nicely performed with the association of the devotees. Yes. And in the Ratha Yatra also, there were groups of kirtan, and it is explained nicely in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. There were various groups, five groups or even more, sometimes. We imagine much more because there are so many persons in your territory. And each group was organized very nicely with some leader and a certain number of drums, mridangas and kirtans, and they would dance and perform pastimes very nicely with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All this is explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and this is very nectarian for us, and it can give a lot of inspiration to us for having this Ratha taking place in every corner of the world. Other questions or comments? Okay. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai, Sri Krishna Das Kaviraj Maharaj ki Jai, Sri Prabhupada ki Divine Grace, Sri Prabhupada ki Jai, Nitai Gaur, Premanandi, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.